Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Momentous Inspiration. A little delayed, but
It's been a minute, yeah.
yeah, it's been since basically the beginning of season 4 at the best. But I'm Brian Will, and I'm here with everybody's favorite, the man of the people, Lon
Oh
Sims.
my gosh. Yeah, we're gonna be looking at some games from the Raleigh Warm-Up. Just finished this last weekend. We had a 24-man event. We had folks all the way from Ohio to the DC area to Atlanta area, Charleston, South Carolina. So we had a whole bunch of people just kind of congregate in the Raleigh area. We ended up running 24 people, 5 round event, and some pretty good level play. And Brian, we are actually going to be starting with the last game of the day.
Yep, we decided with some of the releases going on lately, new captains dropping, that we wanted to go ahead and get round 5 out while it was still relevant. This was one that was on stream as well as recorded, so we're going to give our thoughts about how this game went between our local Glenwood Morris
Dixon Tiru.
and where is he from? I cannot remember.
Dixon is from Ashburn, Virginia, home of Spring Fling.
Yeah, which will be coming up what sometime soon.
Sometime in April. Yeah, I think it's like April something or other, 24th ish. I'm sure you can find it on the internet. That may not be the right date.
Although if I'm not mistaken, they are sold out because I was planning to
Yeah,
go and I
that's true.
waited too long.
But I
So
think they still have tickets for the board game stuff. So if you're into that,
okay.
check it out.
Yep, little plug for our friends up there.
All right, so let's see what we got going here.
So before we kick the video up, for our game plans, Glenwood pulled lone striker, fullback, keep the ball moving, won't touch the hair, and hunker down.
Looks like Dixon had seized the initiative, so they both had a 7. Grudge match, sell it to the crowd, wing back, and back in the game.
Don't think there was any big surprises on either any of those takes really. Like they're all solid
Yep,
cards.
both good, solid hands on both sides.
All right, and when we go to the roll off, we have Glenwood winning the roll off, and he opts to kick the ball.
And we are doing a fast forward version of this by request for you all.
Yep. So Hammer picks, or Glenwood picks Hammer and Wrecker. Anybody who knows him.
Looks like I'll read out the whole thing. So Dixon went
Yeah.
Oculus and Valswarm, and then he went Vet Graves, Pelage, Bonesaw, Casket.
And for Glenwood, he went Snakeskin, Vet Chisel, Vet Harmony, and went with Granite for his final pick. Sorry, we're a little out of sync with their selections there, but the speed up was a little faster than anticipated.
That's what the people wanted, Brian. So that's what we're giving them. We're giving them the fast version.
Hey, we put this one to a vote, and it
Mhm.
went pretty. It
Pretty
went pretty
hard in
heavy in
the
favor of
yeah.
this, even more than I was expecting, to be honest. So
I wanted the long version. I like giving the all the stupid commentary between turns.
I would like to point out this gorgeous little Carolina Guild Ball mat here in the middle.
Yeah, we like recording on this map because the nice thing about it is it's pretty easy to gauge horizontal distance because each one of those stripes is about 2 inches long.
Kind of makes it really easy, especially when you don't have a good measurement. You can still at
Mhm.
least get a ballpark.
Right.
So from top to bottom for Glenwood, we had Snakeskin, who is now kicking, Granite with Wrecker, Vet Harmony, Chisel, and Hammer.
And top to bottom for Dixon, we've got Valswarm, V Graves, Bonesaw, Pelage, Obulus, Casket.
So Glenwood kicks succeeded and ended up with a 3 to the 5, just over the line.
And we're going to get allocation for Dixon here 4 to Bonesaw, 2 to Pelage, 6 to Obulus, 1 to Casket.
And Glenwood has 2 to Hammer, 4 to Granite, 3 to Vet Harmony, and 4 to Snakeskin.
All right. So do we want to try to read this out fast or do we want to wait till the end?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, so Dixon, Pelage sprints and retrieves the ball and passes back to Obulus.
So Snakeskin's going to sprint, and where they go, Glenwood's going for the big play here. But he gets no results on the attack, and then he just nimbles himself.
Casket walks up and puts up Ghostly Visage.
Yep. And then we've got Vet Harmony. Oh, excuse me. I'm early. Um, yep. Now we got Vet Harmony moving up. She's going to mark target. She misses Casket. She hits Casket the second time, and then misses
There we
Polage.
just had a little Valswarm jog.
Yep. Some record bumping. Everybody's going forward.
Doing the boop scoop.
Yep. That took a little vet
Vet
graves jog,
Graves,
I
yep.
think.
Granite's walking up too.
Yep.
All right, so now we got some action here. So let's see what happens here. So
Yeah.
Obulus is going to take a pass to Bonesaw. Then he's also going to confidence Bonesaw, and he's going to puppet master Hammer.
Yep. So I think now we're getting into the Obulus play that everybody knows and loves. So I think he's clearly with Bonesaw. He's kind of looking at getting the first turn goal, especially with that 4-inch bump forward.
Yep.
Um,
So here comes
now
the
with that
puppet
jog,
master. Yep.
and Glenwood did what he's supposed to, and he put a couple of knockdowns near Hammer. So he did get his own hammer on the ground, thankfully, which is what you typically want
Yeah.
to do to keep somebody from getting too out of position.
Right. And then it looks like he's just gonna. Oh, oh,
All he did
wait!
was
Here's Bonesaw.
all Glenwood did.
Bonesaw's damage charges Granite.
Yep, and Hammer just stood up. That was all. Now it's back to.
Okay.
Yep.
So he flies over the base, charges Granite. He wraps, gets an unexpected arrival, and then one extra result.
That's a big set of
Yeah.
pushes. Everybody's going
Yep.
everywhere. So now he's. Yep. Excuse me.
No
Sorry.
problem. So he's going to take meditation and score, and then take a 4-inch dodge back towards that wall.
Sliding in a little bit more in safety. Glenwood's just going to kick the ball down near the cover. And Vet Chisel is just going to snap the ball.
That's turn 1. Pretty quick there.
Yeah, it goes really fast when we speed it up to. I think it was an hour 40-minute game down to 20
Jeez.
minutes. So.
So yeah, it was kind of rough that Glenwood failed his kickoff gambit with snakeskin.
I looked it up and it was about a
Uh-huh.
50-50, give or take. Tac 5 rolling, Tac 5 on a 4-1. So you need 2 results. If he hits 3 4s, he's got the ball, and then Obulus needs 3 successes on a 5-0 to get the ball
Right.
back. I think it was a safe gamble. That was a pretty bold move, but I think it was a really safe one to make.
And then Dixon with the unpredictable. I wonder what the odds are on the unexpected arrival on.
With the
Yeah,
confidence,
with
it gets
confidence
pretty
probably pretty
high.
high. So that turn went probably really well in Dixon's favor, I'd say overall. I'm not 100% sure what the momentum gain is
Well,
there.
that's funny you say that, because there was a major problem. Glenwood forgot his first turn momentum for going second.
Ah, okay.
That was one that I didn't catch until later. And I talked to him about it, and he was
Yeah,
tired
this is a
and he
long day.
forgot.
This is round 5, so.
But it meant that Hammers just stood up in place instead of moving forward,
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a pretty big difference.
which is why Hammer is so far back the board
Yeah,
right now. I think the only other mistake I'd probably say on him is Granite was probably a little too far forward, which really set up that Bonesaw
yeah.
unexpected.
And he was favoring that Bonesaw first activation all day long. That big, crazy Bonesaw activation. It was really weird. I mean, good for him. It's his style. But it's interesting some of the games I watched where he was just throwing Bonesaw into like giant crowds of people.
He did that to me too. It got Bonesaw killed, but it also bought him a lot of
Right.
time. But I mean, it's effective, especially when he
There you go.
receives. And I think he'll trade the 2 points for beating up on Bonesaw for the 4 if it comes to that.
Gotcha.
So, um, but yeah, I mean, the biggest problem for Glenwood, I think, is now that Granite is just right up in the middle of
Right.
everybody, which
Well, it's not the worst in the world. You kind of want Granite to be the one that if someone has to be there, she might as well be her, right?
that's true. But she's going to be a bit crowded out, which is less than ideal. You'd like to have a little bit more support up there for her, but she is close to Harmony, so I'm not sure the exact distances, but probably pretty close to being
It
able
looks like
to.
about 4 inches. Yeah.
Pretty close, yeah.
All
So,
right. We want to go to
all right.
round 2.
Yep. Let's go to round 2.
All right.
All right, so a little bit of cleanup. And for the cards for Glenwood, I'll just go ahead and mention it. It's going to be Hunker Down
And Dixon takes grudge match and singles out on Granite.
and Single Out on Casket for Glenwood.
So Dixon is going to end up going first, and he's going to allocate 4 to Casket, 4 to Graves, and 5 to Obulus. So pretty all in there.
Yep, pretty all in on definitely looking at that Casket time if you're saying 4 on Casket right there. And for Glenwood, running a little ahead, but don't think it'll hurt anybody too much. It's going to be 4 on Granite, 1 on Snakeskin, 6 on Hammer, 1 on Chisel, 2 on Harmony. Spreading it a little wider there. Hammer still gets his stack, but
And we're measuring a few things here. And it looks like we're going to have a Vet Graves charge on Granite.
yep.
And he's going to take his roll, and he's going to end up wrapping. So he's going to do 1 damage, which goes to Harmony, and then a They Ain't Tough, which burns.
They ain't tough for the armor, and then it's a knockdown
1
guild
damage,
ball.
that's
So
right. 1 damage, They Ain't Tough. And then he's going to burn the Sturdy with the knockdown result.
it's actually knockdown guild ball.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he's going to hit Exhaustion and Momentous 2 damage, and then a Momentous Push.
Yep. So Granted is now knocked down. Exhaustion's up. Granted is a 3-1 rather than 2-1, I guess, on the ground rather than 2-2. And it's taking a little bit of damage, not too bad.
So I'm not 100% sure what that roll is for. It might be still wrapping up.
Oh, that was a Granite took an attack and then Obulus countered.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So it took a momentous push. Obulus countered for a knockdown plus 1 damage.
Right.
Then Granite hit him again to knock down Obulus, knock down
Yeah.
Graves, and then gut and string on Obulus.
So there we just saw Pelage just walk up to Granite and ends up Glenwood pick the snare option.
And then V Harmony walks to Vet Graves, Momentous 2, and clears Granite's conditions and heals herself.
All right, so now we got Obulus coming in. He is going to hit a knockdown on Granite again. And then he's going to proceed to hit a Momentous 2. Another Momentous 2. Non-Momentous 3. And then a non-Momentous 3 plus 1.
That's going to get transferred to Harmony.
And then he's going to Legendary and take all the momentum.
Like you do.
Yep.
That's Obulus doing Obulus things. Yep. So Vet Chisel is going to pass to Hammer and is going to move Hammer forward, try to get him back into the game.
Seems like a plan.
Yep.
So now we got Casket coming in. He's going to jog. He's going to hit the take of Ghostly Visage. Then he does a non-momentous 3 plus non-momentous 2.
Yep.
And he takes a non-momentous 3 on the next one, which is there he rose.
Yep.
And then on the last one here, a non-momentous 3 and a non-momentous 2 on Granite. So I think he puts her in the box there.
No,
right?
no, she's still alive.
She's still alive. Okay.
She's low, but I think she's on like 1 hit point.
Gotcha.
So we got Wrecker bumping Hammer and Chisel, Wrecker things. And basically Glenwood, a lot of his work is waiting.
Right. So. He also just fails the charge there.
So with Ghostly Visage up, Hammer doesn't really have the distances he needs. So instead, and with Foul Odor and Glenwood having no momentum, it's not a fun situation necessarily for.
Right.
So he ends up sprinting. He Iron Fists. And he takes a non-momentous 3 down to 2 knockdown on Casket. And then a non-momentous 5 down to 4 double push. And then he takes that twice, and then he passes the ball to Chisel. And Glenwood remembers at this point that he forgot his knockdown dice.
Or his singled out
dice.
Yeah.
Excuse me, not knockdown dice, singled out. He was less than happy.
That's okay. And then we're just going to have a little bone saw jog here.
Yep, and another snakeskin jog is going to be following it right about now. Well, now. Just looking at snapshot range. So that was. This is the turn where it gets to the slog, basically.
Yeah.
Um, Even with all the crowds, Granite's got a lot of hit points.
Does she? She can't have that much, can she?
She's about
She
20.
she took a lot of damage, though.
Well, I'm sorry, total hit points, not left.
Oh,
She's
okay.
got one.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
got
yeah.
one hit point, so
I gotcha.
she still tanked the entire team pretty
Right.
comfortably.
Right, right, and that was a
Um,
lot of I think it was like 13. Did she take all the influence on her pretty much?
yes, all the
Yeah.
influence went into her except for the ghostly visage, which I'll do a favor to Glenwood as he asked for a shout out here. That and I'll put up a picture in the background here, Lon. But that with the changes to the AOE's, including towers, defend the ground, and others, ghostly visage is still an AOE that had to go in the middle
God,
of that
how many
mass of
times am I
people.
gonna hear this? Uh, anyway,
Hey, he asked me specifically too, so I told him I would throw that out there for him.
okay, there you go, Glenwood. So yeah, so it basically, Granite taking all the damage, and then we got some jockeying around, and Hammer finally is back in the game, so that's good for Glenwood. But it's Dixon looks like he's about to be up 6-0, so we'll have to see.
8-0.
8
Don't
nothing.
forget your casket time.
Oh right, casket time because yeah, it does the extra, so it'll be 8-0. So yeah, Glenwood's definitely going to be on the back foot here. So
Yeah,
we'll see what
and that's.
happens.
I think I missed a note in there, but Casket's knockdown was cleared by Dixon. So my apologies on missing that. But
That's fine.
so Casket can walk over and
Mhm.
just
Deliver
slap.
that final blow. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So um, at this point, I mean, it's right where Dixon wants it to be. Hammer being in the scrum always. Hammer does hammer things.
Yeah.
Um, and Granite's real, or not Granite. Casket's really low on health.
Right.
But even with Casket going down, it's still going to be an eight to. That's going to be 8-2.
Yeah, and I just want to point out a couple things too. Like, I mean, there could even be an argument to be made, perhaps, to not activate Casket first. Because if you look at Bonesaw right there, I mean, that looks like he might can score.
I
Uh,
would. I don't even think that's a might, honestly, with his because he's got his stamina move to get in.
right. That's right. Because now he's got the double. Yeah. So Bonesaw might can put him up to 8, and then a Casket time seals the game, right?
Yeah, that would at that point Casket Time completely wins
Yeah. Hammer might
immediately.
can one round Casket though.
But at that point, I think that you're still looking at Granite going down, and you're still up 10-2 at
Mhm.
that
Yep.
point.
Yep. 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 So that I don't know. That's interesting. I wonder if he thought about that.
And Vet Harmony is, Vet Harmony's not looking like the absolute safest either.
Right.
She's pretty far forward. I know that Hammer's tough to take down, but he would still be in the middle of a lot of people,
Right.
especially a bunch with 2-inch melee. I do think that looks like it would be a viable angle. I had missed that one.
Yeah. But hey, that's me always thinking about where my goals are.
Well, I play farmer, so I'm looking for controlling and killing, and I'm not used to looking for
There
goals
you go.
outside of to seal the games.
Let's see what happens. Dixon's got the big momentum stack, so he should almost
Yep.
certainly go first here. So we're
Well, it
gonna,
turns out Obulus Legendary will do that every time.
we'll see if Momo can claw his way back in.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we don't see Dixon's card here.
It's apparently one that has no effect really.
Okay.
Um, but Glenwood does play won't touch the hair and puts poised on chisel. Dixon is going first.
So Dixon's going to have 4 on Obulus, 4 on Bonesaw, 4 on Casket, and 2 on Graves. So it's interesting you put that many on Casket. I wonder if he's not going to go first there. Oh, he certainly is. Maybe he's just hedging his bets.
And there's 4 on vet chisel, 6 on hammer, 3 on snakeskin.
So Casket time goes. We put 1 damage on Granite, put her in the box. We miss Hammer, and then we do a Momentous 2 to 1 double push on Hammer and Heavy Burden on Hammer. Dixon is now up 0-8.
Double push just pops the stoic.
Right.
So one of those abilities that sometimes is just really, really busted.
Sometimes.
It's really nice when you need it.
Yeah. So Dixon's on 8 points now, and Glenwood's on nothing. So he's got a big hill to
Yep.
climb here.
and Hammer basically can't move outside of his normal abilities.
Yeah,
So,
Hammer. See, Glenwood must have saw what I was gonna say, so he's moving that ball
yep.
right now.
So, Vet Chisel is passing the ball to Snakeskin, but misses.
Oh God.
But the ball goes 1 inch and Snakeskin snaps it. Takes a swing on Bonesaw, who counters, misses everything on Bonesaw, but Bonesaw dodges straight into Chisel. Um, then we've got a non-momentous 1 on Bonesaw and put up assist on Hammer. So now Hammer will be hitting like an absolute monster.
Yeah. So Bonesaw's gonna come into Snakeskin. He is gonna hit the. Looks like they're. He hits the double dodge or the push dodge on Hammer rather,
Yep,
and
trying to get
then
him a little
he's gonna
further
attack
out.
Snakeskin, who counters. He hits the momentous tackle.
And Snakeskin hits the on the counter, got the tackle back.
Yeah.
Um, but then we got a tackle dodge from
Hmm.
Bonesaw, which is how we got all the way back
Right.
over there again. So now it's time for Hammer to do a Hammer things. He Iron Fists, Momentous 3 down to 2 push on Casket, and beats him firmly into Chisel. Takes a non-momentous 4 down to 3 knockdown. Momentous 4 to 3, which pops reanimate, and a momentous 4, which will kill. Then walks into Bonesaw and takes the momentous tackle knockdown. And he will. Oops, I'm a little ahead there. Where am I?
You're good.
Yep,
You're
I'm
right
a
there.
little ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
Tackle knockdown.
Um, and drops the ball back to Chisel.
Two. He's on the board now. He's got two. So now here comes Graves. He just does one damage to Vet Harmony. Um, then he does a knockdown
Plus
and
exhaustion.
exhaust.
So Vet Harmony misses swings on Graves. Graves counter misses. Vet Harmony misses again, and then we're over to the Rat.
Yep, and he moves up there and hits Momentous 2.
Yep, and that's all on Harmony. So Snakeskin then is going to be the next activation. Does a Where'd They Go up to Obulus. Does 1 damage and poisons.
And then we got Pelage just kind of walking and putting a snare on Harmony.
Record just jogs, messes with some of Obulus's angles.
Now it looks like we got Obulus is going to go here.
Yep. Just taking some swings on Vet Harmony.
Hits a four momentous damage on her total, I think.
No, that's 4 momentous
Oh,
dodges.
4 momentous
He hits
dodges.
nothing else.
Okay, wow, yuck. Well, he should be in decent shape to maybe win that race again.
Yeah, so I think that's it. So let's go ahead and pause.
All right.
Yeah, so I think that went basically fairly predictably. Glenwood got on the board with the 2 to 8.
Yep, he's on the board. I mean, it looks to me like he might have the board right now, but I mean, we're just gonna have to see if it's, if I'm at 8 points, and again, maybe this is just me, but if I'm at 8 points, I'm trying to win this game and go home and score. So it looks like Bonesaw is already within melee with who's that has the ball right there?
Chisel
Chisel.
and Hammer, and Hammer's within 1 inch for sure.
Right, but still, I mean, you get three chances at it, and then I mean, I guess you have to get away from them too. So
So the one thing I'm looking again, and this is kind of going back to what you were saying last turn. Obulus had a 4 stack. I mean, I didn't get the momentum counts because it kind of goes all over the board,
right,
and Dixon may have valued getting the momentum more than anything. But I was a little surprised that he didn't go ahead and try to use a Puppet Master to get the ball off of Harmony.
right. Puppet Master, get the ball off Chisel and pass to Bonesaw, take a 4 inch dodge. You might win. You might. I mean, even if you lose that momentum race, you still dictate that first activation pretty heavily. Now, I
Yes,
don't know
because
how much health Bonesaw has. Like maybe it's trivial to just kill him at this point, but
I think Bonesaw's on 11 hit points or something like that.
Yeah,
I believe that sounds about right, but it's definitely it's. I mean, Hammer will be able to kill him, especially because Bonesaw's knocked
yeah.
out.
I mean, you could have a first
Um,
activation Obulus too, where Obulus just pass like forces her to pass to him, and then he is the one that goes and scores.
but the thing to me is wondering if it wouldn't going ahead and trying to get the ball onto you earlier so you know where the ball is going to be. And again, I don't know what the momentum race was, so I'm not 100%
Mhm.
sure. But it definitely feels like if the ball's already on Obulus, he's got a lot of good angles to try to get to the goal, especially with Shadow. Like he gets where he wants to be.
Yeah, I think Obulus can win the game right here if he really wants to. We'll have to see how it plays out, and really for Glenwood, I think Glenwood just has to keep grinding. I mean, I don't know if there's much else he can do other than just stick to trying killing people. Just
And get a little bit of luck maybe, because um, I'm pretty sure that Dixon is ahead on the momentum because he did farm 4 momentous dodges,
mhm.
and it looks like about 3 or 4 momentum back there for Glenwood. So
We'll see how it goes.
yeah, at this point, if Dixon goes first, I think you're right. I think he does have a very clear path. So all right, so we're gonna see the pair of sevens here,
Yep. So we're gonna have Dixon with seize the initiative.
and Glenwood with the lone striker,
So Dixon's going first, so he is taking his 4-inch dodge first. Yep,
and he
about as
was
expected.
yep, bring Obulus into range to get the puppet master, and then Chisel gets away to try to mess the ability to with the ability for Obulus to get the ball. So Dixon had 7 on Obulus,
7 on Obulus, 4 on Graves, 1 on Casket, 2 on Pelage.
and we got 6 on Hammer, 4 on Snakeskin, and 2 on Vet Chisel.
All right, so here comes Obulus. He's going to try to Puppet Master V Chisel. He hits it, but the pass fails. So it scatters, and then Wrecker gets the ball. Okay, so maybe he was trying to do the play that I was talking about, but he just failed to pass. Uh,
Yep,
so Wrecker grabs the ball. He does a Momentous 2 on Harmony. Then he does 4 damage. And then he does 2 more damage, and he kills her.
goes up to 2 to 10
2
in
10.
Dixon's favor.
Yep.
Then we got Glenwood, who is just going to get the ball the heck away from the scrum and drop it off on Chisel, with, and then bumps her 2 inches.
All right, and then we have Vet Graves walks up to Hammer, takes the knockdown. They ain't tough, and Momentous 2 to 1, and then a Momentous 2 to 1, and a Momentous 2.
Yep. So a little bit on Hammer, not terrible, but
Yeah, catching up real quick because I read too
yep.
fast.
No worries, no worries. So we got Hammer, who is going to Iron Fist, sacks his movement, and he hits Bonesaw for a momentous 3 damage push. Gets out of Graves' melee range. Hits momentous 2, and he's beating him back constantly to kind of get him away from that.
Yep.
Then another momentous 3 push once again, and then a momentous 3 push kills Bonesaw. And he will take the momentous tackle knockdown on Obulus to put him on the ground too, and heals himself for 4.
4 to 10. Don't call it a comeback. We got Pelage goes up and gets the Momentous 3 to 2 on Hammer. Looks like there's a counterattack and does a push with a knockback. And then he does 3 more damage to Hammer.
Yep. Glenwood selected not to take the snare in that case. Um, so we got Vet Chisel. She's going to sprint and glide because of the rough ground. And then she shoots and she scores. So
There's
8 to
8 to 10.
10.
He's going to goal kick it off to Casket's area there.
Yep.
He's going
Who
to retrieve
is
and he's just going to run away. He says, the ball is the way you're going to win. I'm not going to let that be an option.
so we've got Snakeskin trying to make an argument here.
Oh, maybe she will
Um,
be able to get it back in.
doing a where'd they go? Charges casket. Only hits the momentous dodge. Second attack with bonus time hits the momentous tackle.
Takes it back. We got a Vile Swarm charge on Hammer. Non-momentous 3, and then the 2 down to, looks like he
Th-
does some
Three
amount of
damage total.
damage to Hammer here. And
3 damage total to Hammer after Tough
yep,
Hide.
I think he ends at 10 health.
Yep.
He's gonna,
And the counterattack does a knockdown plus knocks him back. Pause it. And he cleared Viral Swarm and Obulus. We were just getting a little ahead of ourselves there because it gets so fast.
yep,
Because Dixon is pretty low on time, so the clock is starting to become a problem.
right. So he's at looks like just under 5 minutes now, and Glenwood's at about 7.5 minutes. So this is the round basically.
So we got ourselves a
Calling it back.
real tight.
So he got
It got real tight.
yeah, he got. Did he get all 8 points that turn? Yep,
No, he got 2 before from
two
Casket because
before. Yeah.
Casket just came back on.
So you got 6 points that turn, and Snakeskin with the ball. Snakeskin can definitely score that goal right there.
Now, I do figure with Bonesaw coming back on the pitch, it's probably likely to come up and try to have something to say about that.
We'll just have to see who goes first. Snakeskin, if she's still in melee with Casket.
She's still
I
in
believe she
melee,
is.
yeah.
Hits that
He had a
dodge.
bit of Glenwood had a bit of bad luck, and he hit his charge on a 3-1 almost completely whiffed. He only had the momentous dodge, so he wasn't able to quite get back out of Casket's melee.
Yeah, I mean, it looks if he
Um,
wins the roll, I think he wins though. I mean, all you got
yep.
to do is hit that dodge, and then you buy your where did they go, and then you run in on in.
I mean, it was a bit of bad luck for Dixon. Dixon, he did have some interference running with the pass from Chisel because of
Mhm.
Hammer in the way and everything, but
Right. Well, let's be honest. I mean, if he had hit that past Obulus, I think the game would be over.
oh yeah,
So
Um, Obvious probably takes the 4-inch dodge, gets near Harmony, momentum farms once or twice with dodges, and then walks in and kicks or sprints in and kicks.
yeah,
So,
so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, this is going to be a close one. We'll have to see what happens here.
and yeah, I mean, Hammer's not really in particular danger of death either. I will mention that really quick, and he does have Obulus inside of his melee range. So a lot of it hinges on what happens on these first couple of activations.
Yep, we'll see how it goes.
And we got Glenwood playing fullback.
Dixon with wingback.
Yep. So Dixon's going to go first.
So it looks like Bonesaw is going to stamina into Snakeskin.
Allocation.
Oh yeah, he's allocating. So he's 4 to Bonesaw, 4 to Vet Graves, 4 to Plies, 1 to Obulus, 1 to Casket.
And then 6 to Hammer, 4 to Snakeskin, 3 to Chisel, and 1 out on the edge to Vet Harmony.
All right.
Now he's going to stamina in.
Yep. Now he'll stamina in. And he is going to say, give me that ball. So let's see how he rolls here. He hits the push dodge to get her out of the cover. We get a counterattack dodge back in. We miss Snakeskin. And then we miss Snakeskin again. And then we finally hit the momentous tackle.
Yep. He walks out. He takes a parting blow, but Snakeskin hits the pair of 6s to steal the ball.
Oh,
so he just haps back in. Snakeskin hits the momentous dodge after the where they go, sprints, and Glenwood wins 12-10.
Golly, man, that is nuts. Let's think about that tack real quick. So Bonesaw stamina's in, and he hits the push dodge to pull her out of cover, right?
Yep.
And then Glenwood counterattacks to dodge back in. So then he may, no longer be engaged with Casket at that point. So then Bonesaw's throwing 4 dice, I guess, because she's in cover.
He was engaged by Casket. I made it over
on
to
that
catch that.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Still
to
throwing
get back in
5
cover,
dice.
he had to.
So still throwing
What's that?
So he was still throwing the 5 dice.
Yeah. To get back into cover, he still had to be engaged by Casket, but at least he was 1 dice
Do that
less.
again real quick. So we hit the push dodge, and then she dodges back into the cover and is engaged by Casket. Oh my lord!
Yeah.
So, but still, though, I mean, to miss 2 5 dice attacks, that's even worse. To completely whiff them.
Yep. And I mean, he did the only thing he could, tried the parting blow, because with Slippery, Bonesaw was 6 defense.
Right.
And man, Glenwood rocked the 6s at the exact moment that he needed them.
Yeah. I mean, he really pulled it back, though. I mean, he was down, what, 0 to 8 or 0 to 2 to 10, I think, at one point?
He was down 0 to 8 and then 2 to 10, and scored all of the last 10 points.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you got to play your outs, and I mean, it seemed to me like he caught a little bit of a lucky break and really drove it home. So
Yeah, I mean that's I think both guys had some stellar plays on that. They both I think Dixon followed I got to play him earlier in the day and he followed a style that was very similar to earlier and that seems to work really well for him. I mean, he was up 10 to 2 with some very clear ways to win the game.
yeah, and he caught. I
I
mean,
mean,
Dixon
that's
caught a lucky break too, just on the sheer fact that Glenwood like totally forgot he had a momentum, and Hammer was essentially an entire turn behind.
yeah.
So I mean, that's a little bit of a lucky break just due to mental fatigue.
I do wonder from something Dixon did to me in our game. I actually wonder if he would have legendaried when he puppet
Hey,
mastered
hey,
Hammer.
hey, 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 that's content, man. We're gonna go because that one's recorded, right?
Yeah, but oh well, that's not a big spoiler. So, no, 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 that one's not recorded. That one
Okay,
was
okay.
because that was when Glenwood was playing Pete.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Cool.
So no, 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 that's not spoiling anything for me. He just stole all my momentum to make sure that he could go to the top of the next round.
Mhm.
But in this case, it would just be making sure that Hammer couldn't was going to be knocked down no matter what.
Right,
So
right. But very well played by both guys there. I think they both stuck to their game plans and a little bit of a couple of breaks there for each person. And man, that was what a way to end the game.
yeah, I mean, I can't really like. I know Glenwood said he felt like he made some mistakes in there, and I mean, forgetting singled out and forgetting the momentum, sure, but mostly he had one slight mispositioning that allowed an unexpected arrival. Y- It's hard to remember that. Bonesaw does some weird things that literally nobody else in the game
Right.
does. So I don't think I think it was
Well, yeah,
basically a mild positioning mistake that just cascaded a
right.
bit.
And we don't have a local mortician player right now, so I mean, there's just practice and reps. Um, but yeah, it was well done on his part for sure. A very, very well deserved 5-0 victory on the day for Mr. Morris there, and Dixon ended up taking second. So
Yeah, he ground out some incredibly tough games. I think that the whole Raleigh crowd was just all we wanted to see our guy win, of
yeah,
course.
and they were all
So
hard fought too. I mean, even in round one, he played Bill Anderson, and that game ended 11-12. So
yeah, they he didn't have any close one or any easy ones to the best of my memory.
for sure.
You'll see Glenwood in round 4 against Pete, and that one was a fairly tight down to the wire game also.
Yep. So we'll cover that one next time.
I would like to mention also that Glenwood hopped back on his Masons at the last minute.
Yeah, here's
He was going to play order,
but
got back on his
winked
Masons
out a
train,
little
and it
bit. That's all right though. We'll forgive him.
yeah, well, I think his decision paid off in
Oh yeah,
spades for
yeah.
him. So
And he was worried about minors because he apparently doesn't feel comfortable with the or versus minors matchup, which makes sense to me because clearly one of those teams is just above what the other one does in almost all regards. So
sometime here, hopefully in the next, I'm gonna try to shoot for the next week and a half to 2 weeks. We'll be back with another game. I'm not sure if we're just gonna go full reverse order or if we'll go back to round one, but
see how.
we will have more content coming up soon.
All right, everybody. See you next time.
Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.